Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a new study received necessary funding to help predict flash flooding in Appalachia. Plus, it's important to keep your eyes on the road and what's next to it as officials stress Crash Responder Safety Week.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. My name is Amelia Lee. We are just 1 minute away from 6 o'clock this morning, and today's date is November 18th. It's also time to check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmall. Megan, and it's Monday. It is Monday, and it's been a bit of a warmer start, so I feel like that's some good news for us as we head out the door while facing some of those Monday morning blues.
Yes, I'd have to agree with that. It's some good news as you're heading into your Monday and some good temperatures, especially this morning. We're not going to see the upper 30s that we saw some days last week, and instead we're looking in the mid to upper 40s for most of the area. Some places in that 50-degree mark already. 52 for Jackson and Prestonsburg, 50 in Pikeville, 51 in Monticello. However, it is a little bit cooler as you're heading towards Virginia. 37 right now in Clintwood, Grundy, and in Jonesville. But it will continue to warm up throughout the day. Those temperatures warming up to the upper 60s with some 70s potential for today. And as we look at that satellite and radar, it's clear to see that today's story will be the clouds along with the warm temperatures. But we will stay dry with a chance of rain as you're going into tomorrow. But next couple hours, we will be nice and warm with that sunrise at 7:17 a.m. Amelia.
All right, Megan, thank you. Well, scientists and civil engineers from several Kentucky universities received a $1 million federal grant to study and predict flash flooding in Appalachia. Sam Dick went to Robinson Forest to see how scientists will collect that important data.
Robinson Forest is nearly 15,000 acres in Breathitt, Perry, and Knott counties. A century ago, logging company owner E.O. Robinson deeded the land in a trust to the University of Kentucky. The forest is used for research and teaching. 2 years ago, flash flooding smothered much of eastern Kentucky. Water was waist deep around these cabins in Robinson Forest.
The temperatures are getting warmer, and as I said, with global heating, you're getting more evaporation and more water in, the atmosphere.
UK professor of forest hydrology Chris Barton is the principal investigator of a 4-year, $1 million federally funded project to study flash flooding in Appalachia.
We feel like there's going to be more intense, sort of rain events and probably more of these flash flooding incidents, which is why we need to develop new tools for predicting that.
Since 1972, scientists have collected data on water quality and the flow of mountain streams in this Robinson Forest watershed.
So we have a sensor in there that takes a measurement every 15 minutes. And we actually have a transmitter on this that uses a cell tower. And I can, in my office, actually go to this particular weir and see real-time data of the stream flow coming off of this site.
Scientists in the project hope to develop better ways to predict flash flooding, ultimately saving lives and property.
We have a plan to work with a lot of schools in the area and communities to educate people about, the dangers of flash floods and how we can predict them, and then actually use technology in these communities to provide, better early warning systems.
We climb a fire tower for a better view of the beauty of Robinson Forest.
We now have over a 50-year record of rainfall, runoff relationships, water quality information from this forest, and it's a really important resource for sort of the central Appalachian region.
The flash flooding study includes scientists from Eastern Kentucky University, Louisville, and West Virginia. Governor Andy Beshear marked today as the start of Crash Responder Safety Week. Motorists on Kentucky's roads are reminded to follow the state's slow down, move over law. It's an important reminder to keep an eye out for any stopped vehicles to help protect first responders and other drivers. The new law says that drivers have to move over a lane if there is an emergency response or other vehicle on the side of the road with flashing lights.
Green, red, orange, or blue. That can be construction, tow trucks. It can be a variety of vehicles that would be needing you to get over so they can perform their task.
The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet reports that in the last 3 years, there have been 1,000 collisions, 380 injuries, and 7 deaths in the state involving emergency vehicles responding to an accident. Well, do you plan on buying some Christmas gifts online and having them delivered? There are some steps to ensure safe delivery. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox tells us how to avoid a common criminal tactic this holiday season.
Porch pirates can be looking to snatch presents from your deck. Being there when the package arrives can avoid that.
You need to make sure that if you're not going to be home, that someone, a neighbor that you trust or a relative can be there, especially if you're getting a high-end item to your house.
Achardo says mail carriers often run through neighborhoods at specific times. If you are not there, surveillance footage can keep an eye out.
For you to have a camera at your house is fine, but if people don't know that you have one, then you're possibly going to be the victim of a theft.
Achardo says the charge from such an incident is theft by unlawful taking. In Laurel County, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Achardo says to call the sheriff's office with any issues. He says they often receive stolen property without knowing who to return it to. A Lexington organization is teaching the community about how art can benefit your health. LexArts held an arts and health symposium on Saturday. It touched on different topics that combine creativity with healing. One of the main subjects was the benefit of art therapy for those with cognitive impairments. Speakers shared how art helps people express their emotions, which leads to better physical and mental well-being.
I think that's a really great avenue to express yourself and even just to get out and partake in the arts helps with mental health and makes you feel a little less alone in the world.
LexArts Vice President says they plan on hosting similar events throughout 2025.
We have some cooler weather as we're starting the latter half of the week, but as we're looking into today, well, that, however, is not the story. In fact, we have much warmer weather as we're starting off today with some areas even seeing 14 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. But let's take a look at those current temperatures as we're looking in the mid to upper 40s for most of the area with 50 degrees in some cities across eastern Kentucky. But we will be warming up. Don't worry, we'll see those upper 60s for today. Again, another seasonably warm day, and those temperatures are just going to be increasing as you're going through the next couple hours. But as we are dry today, maybe not a bad day to go out and hike. We're going to see those nice and warm temperatures starting around that noon hour. Sunrise at 7:17 a.m. and sunset at 5:20 p.m. Amelia.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you for joining Mountain News this morning. Just ahead, President Biden signals a major policy shift in Ukraine, allowing the country to use American long-range missiles against Russia.